Okay, so tonight we'll be talking about the emerging skills. We are looking at the skills of the future, and we are looking at what exactly are organizations looking for at this time. We all know that the narrative has changed across different industries, across different sectors, and people are looking for, for more. They're asking for more out of every employee, out of every business partner, out of everyone that works in an organization. This is the time that employers, even as a business owner, you are also asking from your employee and from yourself, you're asking for more. More in terms of deliverables. How do we deliver on our business promise to our customers, to our shareholders, and investors? So that's what I'll be talking about tonight, because of we all know we are in the fourth industrial revolution, and there's been talks around the fifth industrial revolution, that are we at the brink of the fifth industrial revolution. Before we even get into the fifth industrial revolution, this revolution is characterized by unprecedented technological changes, as you are all aware, and our current reality, which is the COVID-19, had sped up the rate at which organizations are adopting technology. And now, like I said earlier, we'll be talking about the emerging skills. What are the skills of the future? I'll be talking to you about 10 emerging skills of the future. You probably must have, heard of these emerging skills, and you're wondering what they're all about and what do you need to do. How do you build your competence? How do you build your skills to be able to thrive and to be able to survive in this world of work? I'm not here to scare anyone. We all know the reality. We all know that people have been laid off, not because they necessarily do not have the necessary skills, but sometimes because business can't go on. A lot of things are happening and the business can't go on and they want to close shop. So because people are laid off does not mean that they necessarily don't have the skills that it requires to work in the organization. A lot of things could be the determinant. But right now, what are the skills? Either you are actively working, either you are the business owner, or you work for someone, or you are the team lead, you are the manager. So what are the emerging skills? What are the skills that we need to survive in this era? Without these skills, survival is, what will I say? Should I say it depends on God? So what are the skills that you need to survive? Like I said, I'll be talking about 10 emerging skills. And the first skills I'll be mentioning is tech savviness. Tech savviness. It's about proficiency in modern technology. Tech savviness does not mean that you have to be a programmer, or you have to know how to code, or you have to be a computer engineer or an AI engineer before you can be tech savvy. Tech savviness is just about knowing how to use simple technology. The technology that is required, you can operate a computer system, you can use a relevant software, you can even work with your smartphones. You can work with your smartphone, you can work with your PC, you can work with the desktop computer. So it's about using modern technology. That is just what that is the basis of tech savviness. You can't tell me that in this era you can't operate a system and you want to work effectively. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it won't make your work efficient and effective. So the first skill you should be considering is tech savviness. How tech savvy are you? How can you use the modern technology to enhance efficiency and productivity at work? I said earlier that you don't have to know how to code or how to program before you can be tech savvy. Just knowing how to operate modern technology. As we go to work or as we work on our system, we work in an organization, there are some tools that are being used in the organization. There are some tools that you yourself are using to complete your work. It could be maybe a software that you're using, maybe there's an app that you're using. How savvy are you using those apps? And how can you increase your knowledge while using it? Because organizations are looking for people that are tech savvy. And at this point, I would say that if you have a particular app that you're using at work and you're not so familiar with it, then this is the time to learn. Or the time to leverage on your team members. Or the time to go online and, or go on YouTube, and learn how to use it. Because this is not the time for excuse. You want to function in the future of work. And when we are talking about the future of work, the future is here. The future is here. It's not that it's 10 years time or 5 years time. The future is here. So how can you, effectively work in the organization without knowing the appropriate app? I was discussing with somebody recently, and I was saying that I'm looking at the baby boomers generation, and right now technology is being forced on them. They have to come up to speed and learn. They can't learn at the same pace. Most of them, anyways, can't learn at the same pace as the millennials or the centennials. So technology is being forced upon them. So how are they coping? You need to learn. You need to leverage on others. So like I said, the first one is tech savviness. Now we go to the second skill, which is data literacy. What is it about data literacy? Data literacy is just knowing how to use data. You can collect data, you can analyze data, and you can interpret data. And so data is the soul of every business. Data is like the vitals of every business. For you to do an health check on a particular business, look at the data. So as an individual, or even as a business owner, you want to thrive in this, in this era, you need to know how to gather data, how to collect data. We use data every day. It is the soul of business. You can't come up with innovative products without depending on data. What are your customers requesting for? What kind of data are you even gathering? You don't have to be a data scientist, or you don't have to know how to perfectly use maybe the statistical tool or analytical tool like the Power BI. But a simple Microsoft Excel, you know how to effectively use it to analyze data, to gather data. Data literacy is an important skill that everyone should learn how to be data literate. Excel, you can use Excel to analyze data. There is data everywhere. Data, either you're collecting it or you're not collecting it, there is data everywhere. Data exists everywhere. Looking at performance, you want to check product performance, you look at your data. You want to check your consumer, or you want to roll out a new product, you do your market research, you look at you look at what customers are saying, you look at whatever it's, maybe the number of people that you're engaging with on social media, maybe on your business page, that's another data. So your ability to collect data, relevant data, and be able to analyze and put it to use to make important and strategic decision, it's a skill that every employer or every organization can jump at. Let me do a bit of recap. We are talking about the 10 emerging skills of the future. And the first one is tech savviness. And the second one is data literacy. How are you collecting data? Are you even collecting data? How are you analyzing this data? How are you making use of the data to make informed decisions at work? for your business. Data literacy is key if you want to survive, if you want to thrive in this environment. Imagine the number of data that we now have at our health facilities across the world. Imagine the number of data. People log in online, people, we conduct our meetings now virtually because almost everybody is starting to adopt work from home or remote working or flexi working. So there is data everywhere. Learn how to make use of important data. So we move on to the third one, which is your adaptability and flexibility. It's also a skill that will help you to thrive in this era, this complex, unpredictable, and ambiguous era. Adaptability. How can you effectively adapt? We've seen and we've known of different companies that have sunk because they cannot adapt. We even make use of them, as business cases. We use them, as a case study. How adaptable are you as a person? Adaptability is your willingness to change. Adaptability is your willingness to respond to changes. Now that the pandemic has thrown a curveball at everyone, we are all struggling to survive, struggling to thrive. I can remember when the first lockdown, we all thought the world is coming to an end, that businesses are not going to recover, businesses are going to, die, most especially for organizations that have not even tried, most organizations have not even tried the remote working. But it was forced on everyone. And businesses, even educational institutions, schools, are trying to adapt. The same applies to an individual, adaptability and flexibility, because there will be new inventions, there will be new technology. So as a person, how do you want to adapt? How exactly do you want to adapt? How do you want to acclimate yourself to changes in roles, changes in in your job description, because things are changing? How do you want to adapt? How do you want to be flexible? So as a person and as an individual, we need to learn adaptability and flexibility. You are able to change. You are able to, you're flexible enough to improvise when it comes to making business decisions. You are flexible enough to improvise. So adaptability is a key skill. It's one of the emerging skills that we need to thrive in this new world of work. That's the third one. The fourth one, I'm talking about 10 emerging skills. So the fourth one is creativity and innovation. You can agree with me that business cannot survive without innovating. Why? Because even customers are getting more sophisticated and they are demanding for new products. They are demanding for express service. They are demanding for, excellent service delivery from every of the company or every of maybe the vendor or the nation that they are dealing with. So for you to survive and thrive in this new world of work, creativity has to be part of you. Innovation has to be part of you. And when it comes to innovation, I don't want us to think about, no, I have to be like a Thomas Edison. You can be so good, but these are things you can start doing. Start with what you're currently doing. How can you make it better? The current process, how can we make our process seamless? How can we make it, what is the better way to do it? That's one of the things, or that's one of the ways to start creativity, or to start being creative. How can this process be better? We have a product. How can we be more competitive with our products? Right now, there is a huge demand for people that can think outside of the box. People that can introduce new ideas. And sometimes it's not just about introducing new ideas. It can even work with existing ideas. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can work with existing ideas. The ideas that are already existing. How do you optimize? How do you maximize? Because customers are not just waiting. They are asking for more. I said everybody is asking for more. Now that people have access to information at their fingertips, they can browse, they can order things, they can change the people that for the banking industry, they can change their banking institution. Like, I don't want to bank with this, I'm going with another bank, or I don't want to buy from this company, I'm buying from another bank. People are making decisions based on what they're seeing online, they're seeing on social media. So how do you want to compete? Businesses want to compete and thrive. Nobody wants to close shop, and they want to leverage on employees that can think outside of the box and come up with something new ways of doing things, new ways to reach customers, new things to do so that customers can fall in love, be loyal to their brand. Everybody's trying to survive, and innovation is at the forefront, leading that survival. If you cannot innovate, you die. Innovate or die. And nobody wants to die. So the fifth one is critical thinking. That's the fifth emerging skills. Critical thinking. What do I mean by critical thinking? Critical thinking is the logical connection between ideas. You have different ideas and you can think it through. You are not outsourcing your thinking to another person. Although we have consultants that businesses can call and say, this is what we have on ground. Consultant can help us, look through whatever process that we have. We want to do audit of the process. We want to do audit of our procedures, and consultants are being invited. Beyond that, as a business owner or a product owner, how critical can you think? How can you think clearly? How can you examine problem? That is a skill that everybody is looking for. Can you think logically? Can you connect ideas together? Can you look at situations and prefer solutions? How are you thinking through things before you even make decisions? As a product owner, as a process owner, how are you gathering information and breaking it down? Because your ability to think starts from you being able to gather information. I spoke here about data literacy. Be able to gather data, get required information, and break it down. And communicate. How are you communicating with others? I'm taking you through how you can think critically. The first one is analytical thinking. Analyze data. Analyze information. How can you decipher between, what information do I need at this time to make this decision? You're not just going to jump and start making decisions irrationally or based on emotion. You have to look at your facts. You have to look at your figures. You have to look at, whatever is made available. And still do your research. And think through ideas. Because remember that a lot of things are at stake. Investment is at stake. Even people's job is at stake. So you don't want to come and make a rational decision. So you need to have the ability to think critically. So let me take you through how you can think critically. Number one, like I said, analytical thinking. How are you gathering information and looking through the information? Number two, communication. How are you communicating? How are you communicating with people? Communication has to do with you listening. You are within a team, you're not listening to what others are saying, you believe yours is the best decision. You need to listen to be able to think critically. You need to ask questions. Before you make it, you ask, why are we doing this? What are the pros? What are the cons of us taking this decision at the time? This is what it takes to think critically. Then you have to be open-minded. Open-mindedness means that you know your limits, you know your strengths, and you know your weaknesses. Then you know when to call for help, and you know when to step back and listen to others. Because there is not just one way of solving a problem. There's not just one way. There are different ways to solve and resolve a problem. So you being open-minded, you want to listen to what others are saying so that you can weigh it. You want to do your cost-benefit analysis and see if we take this route, what are the pros and cons to our employers, to every stakeholder? What do we do? Then you also want to, problem solving. Why? There is a concept of the 5 whys that when you ask a question, you ask why. And when you get your answer to the why, you ask why again. When you ask why to the 5th degree, then you know that you have actually gotten to, if you have not even understood it fully, at least you've gotten halfway. So that is critical thinking. You can't just make decisions based on what others are, what you're seeing around without checking relevant data, or without doing your own research to know what is going on, or what is happening in the industry. So that is critical thinking. You're thinking through your ideas. You're listening to others. You're communicating with others. I said I'm mentioning the 5 ways. That is analytical thinking, communication, creativity is also part of it, for you to think critically. Like I said, it's not just one way of solving things. You need to think, what are the ways? And how do you think? You benchmark what are our competitors doing. Then open-mindedness. Then problem solving. Problem solving is why. 5 whys analysis. Why? Why are we doing this? Once we've gotten another why. Why this? We've gotten an answer why to the 5th degree, the 5 whys. That will help you to think through your ideas critically and be able to make an informed decision. And then the 6th skill, emotional intelligence. We all know, we've all been hearing about emotional intelligence. Don't think that emotional intelligence is just for people that, people in the human resources or for managers or for top executives. Everyone needs to be emotionally intelligent. And what does that mean? You understand your emotions and you can effectively manage the emotions of others. It is a skill that is required. Because you're going to be working in multidisciplinary team and working with a lot of people. So you need to be emotionally intelligent. And we all know the components of emotional intelligence, which is the self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, and empathy. Self-awareness has to do with who am I? Who am I? You know who you are. Like I mentioned earlier, you know your strength, you know your limits, your strengths and your weaknesses. So who am I? If you're not aware of your strength, you can't understand others. And because you cannot give what you don't have. If you can understand your own emotion, then you will be able to understand the emotion of others. Then self-regulation, which is you think before you speak. What is the impact? If I say this, what is the impact on the others? So these are skills that we all need to thrive in this era. If we don't have these skills, we need to learn them. Then motivation. How are you working towards your goals every day? Mind you, people are watching. And these skills are not skills that, because you have put them on your curriculum vitae, then everybody knows you have it. It's something that happens every day. In the way you deal with people, in the way you relate with people, even people, because most people are working remotely now, even people that you're not seeing, physically, face to face, but you see them virtually, how you are learning their emotion and you are managing it as a business leader, as a team lead, as a manager, or as a supervisor, even as a team member. How are you managing the emotions of others? Then empathy. Are you putting yourself in the shoes of others? Are you looking, you're putting yourself in the shoes of others? Before you make a decision, if we are making this decision, even businesses do that a lot. If you're making the decision, what is the return on investment for our shareholders? So as a person, before you make a decision, what is the return on this decision that I'm about to make? Are you even putting yourself in in the position of others? Because the workplace is becoming more, competitive. And these are skills that are rare to find. So if you as a person have the skills, and maybe you and a competitive edge, it gives you an edge. Then social skills. What's your personal relationship skill? How are you relating with others? How are you communicating your point of view to others? So that is the 6th skill we are talking about this night. How are you relating with others? How emotional intelligent are you? People are going through stuff. How are you putting yourself in their shoes without compromising deliverables? Because we understand that business has to make deliverables as well. And because you want to show empathy onto another person, does not mean that the business should suffer. But you should know how to balance the two. So that is the 6th skill in emerging skills. We are looking at how you can thrive in the new world of work and the emerging skills. So that is the 6th. Now we move on to the 7th skill, which is cultural intelligence and diversity. Cultural intelligence and diversity. The new workplace, I don't want to say the future workplace because we are right now in the future. The new workplace is culturally diverse. Most especially, you're working in a multinational company that has branches, across different countries, and you have teams, or you have people in different, people that have maybe an indirect line to you, or a direct line to you. We have people with different cultures, and because the world is becoming a global village, everybody, you can be here and talk to people from wherever. We all know that technology has made that much more possible to work with remote teams and work effectively. So you as a person, how culturally diverse are you? We call it, cultural intelligence or CQ. How culturally intelligent are you? You should know that people have different backgrounds, people have different cultures, and culture shapes the way we think, the way we look at things, the way we even respond, the way we live. People's approach to even solving problems depend on their culture, because culture changes our belief. It shapes it. So working in a cross-functional team, how culturally intelligent are you? Being culturally intelligent has to do with, I mentioned 5 important things that has to do with, 4. The drive, the CQ drive. CQ is the cultural intelligence or cultural quotient. Your CQ drive, which is, are you even aware that people think differently because of their culture? Now, even talking about human workers, I'm not even talking about robots or talking about AI or cobots. I'm not talking about that. We are talking about human workers now. You should understand that people have different culture, and because of this, it makes them say things certain way and look at things differently from you. So your CQ drive is telling you that people, you should be aware that people think differently based on the culture. And then you need to now make a conscious effort to build interactions. Not writing people off because you feel you don't like their way of thinking. No. You know, you understand that because of their culture, you can be in the same country and have, let's not even go further now, within the same country, people with different ethnic background, and this, you know, these things shape the way they think and act. Then your CQ knowledge, you know what, if you have in a team, you have people that are from different culture, you should, as an effective team member or as a team leader, you should have an understanding of their culture. That gives you, you know, it gives you a soft landing for you to relate with people based on their culture. So your CQ knowledge is, you understand your team. And you know that, you understand maybe some people, the way they greet, or the way they think, or, you know, you understand that. So CQ knowledge. As somebody that wants to thrive in this era. And then your CQ strategy now has to do with, now that you are aware, now that, you know, the first thing we said was CQ drive. Then I said CQ knowledge. Now is your CQ strategy. Your CQ strategy is, you are not developing a holistic approach or, you know, a robust, culturally sensitive strategy. You want to, you know, maybe you have the opportunity of working on policies. And you know that in your organization, you have people from different backgrounds. That should inform the community. That should inform your process system. That is being culturally intelligent. Remember, we're on the same skill, which is cultural intelligence and diversity. So to thrive in this new world of work, your CQ should be top notch. Then the last CQ is your action. That means you have developed strategy, you know, culturally diverse and sensitive strategy. Now your action now is, how do you now communicate it to your different teams or to different people you're working with? How do you act based on your knowledge of their culture? Now that we all work virtually, you have, if you have not been working with, you know, with maybe cross-functional teams or intercontinental teams before, I'm sure that right now the possibility of working with them has increased virtually, because you need to talk to people and they necessarily don't have to travel down to your country of residence. People can now talk because, you know, because of what is going on. People are not, you know, there have been restrictions on movement. Now you have the opportunity to work with people, you know, differently. It is your duty to learn the culture of others for you to be able to thrive, because it is a skill that will be required. Except you want to just sit down and be a local champion. Even as a local champion, we have people from different ethnic groups within your team. So you need to be culturally intelligent. It's a skill that organizations are looking for. It's a skill that will make you thrive and survive this new world of work, because it's going to get much more culturally diverse, especially when people or when organizations start, you know, going the route of, you know, adopting the gig economy, you know, going the route of getting remote workers or freelancers or people, you know, or working on different projects, because that is the future of work. Job descriptions are going to be based on project. They're going to be project-based. And when they're project-based, you work with different, you know, you work with different people from different parts of the world. So your cultural intelligence should be top-notch. You just need to be aware. Remember that I mentioned 4 things under cultural intelligence. I said your CQ drive, your CQ knowledge, your CQ strategy, and your CQ action. Please have that at the back of your mind if you want to be culturally intelligent. And all these skills, you may get, you may do some courses on them, but your expertise comes from, you working on it every day, using it every day. It comes with experience. It comes with how often you are demonstrating this, or how conscious or how deliberate you are while demonstrating these skills. Okay, so the 8 skills, remember we are still talking about thriving in a new world of work, the emerging skills, and I said we have 10 emerging skills, and I've mentioned the 10, I've mentioned up to 8. The number 1 thing we mentioned was tech savviness, data literacy, adaptability and flexibility, creativity and innovation, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence and diversity. And now we are on the 8th skill, which is leadership. Leadership is about influencing people. You don't have to have the title before you lead a team. You don't need to be the team lead, you're the team head, you have a letter from your HR department saying you're the team lead. You don't have to go that route before you lead a team. The first thing is you leading yourself. How effectively are you even leading yourself? And the second one is leading the team. How can you influence people? Leadership is about influence. Your ability to lead and guide or influence others. Ability to take responsibility, ability to communicate effectively. A leader sees the future. A leader has the vision and leads people. If you want to thrive in this new world of work, you need to be a leader. You need to be a leader. You need to be ready to lead people. Every organization has a mission, and every project you're working on, there are deliverables. So let's see those deliverables as the future of that project. So how do you want to lead people as a team member? How do you want to encourage people? This is a skill that is required. Ability to take decisions, ability to make decisions, to influence people. Why do you think that most brands will go after influencers? We call them influencers. We say we are doing influencer marketing. Why? Because they are looking for people that have the large base of fans, followers, and because of that, they want to leverage on that because they have the crowd. They can influence people. And I've even heard of a case whereby some of the influencers, their followers couldn't, patronize the brand they're trying to market or to influence. So leadership is more than having a large base of, followers. It's about being able to influence, no matter how small your team is, being able to influence people and lead them and make sure that you lead them to achieve the we are talking about you working in an organization and also as a business owner, being able to lead people to achieve that business objective, that business growth. Leaders take responsibilities. Leaders sees the future and lead people. Leaders are accountable. Leaders are visionaries. They see the vision and they lead people effectively. They see where others are not seeing, and they are able to carry people along. And being a leader does not mean you shouldn't listen to people you're leading. It means being able to effectively leverage on the strength of the team, knowing your weaknesses, leveraging on the strength, and moving the business forward. To try in this new world, we need a leader, someone that will stand and lead. At this time, I've seen countries, some countries complaining that their leaders are not leading effectively with this pandemic. And I've seen news whereby some of the countries that are being led by women, people are, they are singing their praises that they are leading very well, they are doing it. Leadership is even before crisis, how are you able to hold forth? How are you able to lead your people? How are you able to make decisions? And right now that we are in a pandemic, how are you leading your team when everything is now falling apart? So to say, how effectively are you leading? So that's the 8th skill, leadership. So we have agreed that we are not going to be waiting until there is a title saying that I'm the team lead before we lead. Just lead effectively. Then we look at the 9th skill, which is judgment and complex decision making. This is somehow related to critical thinking. But when you now think critically, the end point is just being able to make use of that, in decision making. You need to be able to to make effective decision, judgment. For you to have a clear judgment, you have to be open-minded. Open-mindedness, I've mentioned it earlier. It's saying that there is not just one way to resolve a problem or to solve problems. It's not just one way. So you need to be able to make complex decisions, because there are times will come that you have to make decisions. It is a skill that is required. You have to make choice and identify a decision. And you can't do that without knowing how to gather information. That's why all these skills are somehow interconnected. I mentioned part of the second skill I mentioned was data literacy. So right now, that ability to gather data will inform your decision. What is the market saying? What are our competitors doing? You don't have to be in BI, business intelligence unit, for you to be able to know what is going on in the industry. To thrive in this industry, you need to sit down and see what are our competitors doing. Even if you are not part of the board members, whatever capacity you are, you need to know your competitors, what they're doing, your customers. Your customer insight is coming, in here. Customer insight and research. What are customers demanding for? Because if you relax, your competitors will go. They will poach your customer. If I can use the word poach, they will poach your customers. And every business wants to be around for a long time. So as an individual, your skill, judgment and complex decision making, wherever capacity you are holding, whatever your job description is saying, you need to be able to make decision on your feet. And your data literacy skill will give you that leverage. We give you the opportunity to make decisions, because you need data. We said earlier that data is the soul of every business. You are collecting data every time. Customer data, your product performance data, everything has data. How are we engaging? How many customers are patronized? Or the projects you're working on, who are the people you need data from? What kind of data do you need? How are you able to, now where are the bottlenecks? What do we need to do? So your ability to make a decision on your feet will help you to thrive. Because organizations are just waiting for somebody like a Messiah. If I can put it that way, like a Messiah. Somebody to just come and make things happen. Somebody to just come and, just swing your magic wand and the business is booming. That's on a lighter note anyway. But you need your data to work. You need your data to make decisions. I've said earlier, you don't need to be a data analyst or a data engineer or being able to use Power BI or being able to use complex software. Your ability to even use Excel to analyze a simple data will help you a lot. Our employers are looking for people that can weigh consequence. You're making a complex decision. You're weighing the consequence. How will this impact on people? How will it impact on the business? How will it impact on investments? Analyze data. So we go move on to the last skill, which is collaboration. That's the tense. Collaboration is a skill. Is a skill. Sometimes you call it team playing, but beyond team playing, collaboration means that your ability to work with someone else in order to create or produce something. You want to work with someone. There's something we call open source innovation. Open source innovation is saying that organization is looking outside. They are looking outward to external, external agents. It could be a competitor. It could be somebody, a player in the industry. They are looking outward for innovation ideas. They are looking at people that have done it somewhere, and they are bringing that innovation in. They are bringing it in, and they are using that to develop whatever product or service they want to do. That's open source innovation. That's an innovation strategy that some companies are using. So right now, if you don't have that skill of collaboration, you cannot even work effectively within your team, not to talk of going outside and working with another, with a different team or with a different company entirely. So collaboration is a skill that everybody needs. You need to be able to work with people. You're not in silo. You can't work in silo. You can't say that I do better alone. Yes, you can do better alone, but make conscious efforts to collaborate with others to be able to produce something. Have exceptional interpersonal relationship. It's a skill that you need to thrive in this new world of work. And I said, you're working with culturally diverse teams, so you also need collaboration as a skill. Those are the 10 emerging skills that we need to thrive in the new world of work. So thank you so much for being here.